A tradition is that once a president is elected, before they are sworn in, they meet with the sitting president and ensure the American public there will be a peaceful transfer of power. Normally not something that has to be so explicitly stated because that was a given before Trump came along, but now is something that's explicitly stated. And like I said, this being a tradition, you sit with each other and you're all friendly no matter how aggressive the race was. And something feels very strange about this, what we're about to watch. But my biggest takeaway is what Biden is giving to Trump as the sitting president, ensuring the transition will be smooth. What Trump is accepting and happy to be accepting is the thing that Trump never gave to President Joe Biden when he was elected and Trump was the sitting president. A really devastating fact that MAGA refuses to engage with. As you're watching this, please remember to click that subscribe button. If you support this show and want to, in the free way, show your support and help us grow, just clicking that YouTube subscribe button makes all the difference. Here we go.
Make sure you're accommodated, what you need, and we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So
Good.
welcome
Thank you
back.
very much. And thank you very much. And politics is tough, and it's in many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate very much a transition that's so smooth. It'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Jim.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Now, a couple of things. A lot of people, I saw Aaron Rupar say Biden and Trump meet in the White House and act like buddies. And there is this sentiment that I've seen from both MAGA and those on the left, which is feeling weird about Democrats acting all hunky-dory and friendly with Trump just because he won when they were just saying that he's a fascist. I don't think Biden respecting our democratic process and thus not sitting there saying anything other than we're going to have a peaceful transfer of power. I respect the say of the American people enough to ensure that. I don't think that's him walking back his very correct criticisms of Trump and how anti-democratic Trump is. And I don't know what else he should do in this moment. I do think he should invite Trump to the White House. And I do think he needs to show the American public what a president looks like, which is Biden. Biden is being a president who respects our democracy. Contrasted against, and apparently some Americans don't care about this, but the guy sitting next to him who had the opportunity to do what now Biden's doing for him last time, but didn't do it. And it's one of those things that I don't think I'll ever forgive MAGA for this. That now that they've won, they want to sort of, never mind. Don't even worry about those stolen election claims. Don't worry. What are you talking about? I don't remember that. But at this point in time, 4 years ago, almost all powerful Republicans, definitely the sitting president of the United States, was acting like he was going to stay the president. You had a Secretary of State saying we're going to have a peaceful transfer of power to a second Trump term. You had him putting together fraudulent electors, trying to get local officials to assist in keeping him in power by fraudulently claiming he won an election in their state that he didn't. You then had violence when the election was going to be certified. Trump not showing up to the inauguration and then lying about the results every day since then, creating a situation where so many Americans don't trust our elections because they bought into these lies. That's how MAGA reacted. And I don't know if I want to scream or cry thinking about how this on the right of the screen is what a president looks like, who, no matter how much disdain he holds justifiably in his heart for Donald Trump, understands everything falls apart if we start uprooting our democracy when bad results happen. But then he's sitting next to the guy who genuinely wanted to overthrow our entire process to keep himself in that Oval Office. Who, like I said, pushed a plan that if Pence had participated in it, would have thrown us into a constitutional crisis like we've never seen in American history before. And this time, Trump has loyalists who will do those sorts of things for him, by the way. And MAGA, there's no apology, there's no mea culpa, there's no introspection. It's just charging forward, acting like they didn't strip away this. You can show it again, Jaden. This from us. You all will never know, as I've said before, what it's like to not have this. We didn't know. All throughout November and December of 2020, into January of 2021, we didn't even know if Trump was going to leave the White House because he was saying he wasn't. And he was trying to illegally keep himself there. And then the American public just went, we forgot. So credit to Biden for doing what Trump never could, for having the character that Trump never will. Trump also, during his visit to Washington, D.C., met with the House Republicans. And we don't need to hear that song again. Copyrighted, but here's Trump speaking.
Well, thank you very much. This is a very nice gathering. Isn't it nice to win? It's nice to win. It's always nice to win. A lot of good friends in this room. So you know we had like historic kind of numbers, especially for the president, but we won't get into that. But the House did very well, and I think we're responsible for 31, helping you with 31, meaning we could have lost by quite a bit, and we ended up, I guess you'll be 5 up. Are you looking at 5 or 4? 5 or 4, right? Doesn't matter. We get used to 1 for a little while. When you can get used to 1, you can get used to anything. So I just want to thank everybody. You've been incredible. We worked with a lot of you to get you in, and you helped me, and you helped me too. And my numbers were, so they say, the 129 years, the most important election in 129 years. That's pretty good. I said, who is the 129 years? What was that, Doc Ronnie? Who's 129 years ago? I'd never looked because it started at being 100, and then they upped it to that, but it's a great compliment. We won the majority by 7.1 million. We won, which is great because Republicans aren't supposed to be winning the majority margin.
You know, we're about to release some, part of the reason we've been less active the last couple of days is some conversations I've been having with Trump supporters, debates. And one of the things they keep saying that you'll be confronted with, I'm sure, is it is time for Democrats to admit, this is their argument, that Republicans must be correct. There must be something to the Trump policies because he won the majority in the popular vote. So it's time for y'all to admit that you must have just been wrong in what you were saying during your campaign. False. Because let's just all contemplate this together. If that's their principle, and in the discussions with Trump supporters, they didn't seem to want to engage with the principle that they're espousing, not just the individual instance, because they'd say, no, don't go back to 2020, just 2024. No, let's see if your principle is consistent. If you want us now to say, wow, Trump must be right about some of this stuff because he won 70-something million votes, that means y'all, to a larger extent, should have to admit that back in 2020, we were all right or super right because we had 81 million votes. Oh, but you didn't. You said it was all fraudulent. But we don't do that. So not only are you demanding something I think is silly, because history's taught us a lot of people can vote for very incorrect things, you also don't hold yourself to that standard, and you create fake realities for yourself to live in, like Trump actually won 2020 whenever you lose, so that you don't have to contend with any introspection whatsoever. I'm engaging in introspection. It just happens to be mostly about how the messaging can be stronger, how we can get people on board with what the facts are. I'm not going to ignore the facts point to Kamala Harris was a much better candidate than Donald Trump. But clearly people didn't get on board with those facts and didn't know about those. And yes, we also need to have better policies, reach out to people more effectively in our policies, but also branding. But that doesn't mean that Donald Trump is all of a sudden less bad. Because again, they never say that when it's Democrats winning popular vote after popular vote. They only do it when it applies to them. Now, if you thought Trump was gonna sort of not be as funky as people said he was gonna be, if you thought maybe this is the moment, as so many people on mainstream media like to say, maybe this is the moment when Trump becomes presidential, you are going to stop believing that quickly as we get information about who Trump is nominating for his cabinet. And Pete Hegseth, a Fox News host, has been nominated or will be nominated as Trump's Secretary of Defense. Now, Pete Hegseth did serve in the military, but does not have the resume that you'd expect for a Secretary of Defense. And we know the reason Trump picked him is because he saw him on Fox News. Now, we have to remind ourselves of who Pete Hegseth is. A reminder, like I said before, 4 years ago, what was going on Fox News.
What will he say from the podium today? We'll find out on the Fox News channel. His two sons will also be speaking. Dan Covino speaking, Katrina Pearson, Mo Brooks, who's been a part of the objection as well on Capitol Hill, as well as organizers for Women for America First. And guys, right now the crowd is starting to walk in. They just opened the doors. You're actually going to look at the first few folks that will be coming in. They've been waiting for hours, morning for hours. And, you know, the chants that are coming time and time again are stop the steal, stop the steal. And we saw it coming out of Georgia. That 70% of Republicans who believe that the election in November was not legitimate, that it was stolen, that may have had an effect on Georgia, but no doubt it has an effect on the hearts of this city right now, of Americans. I have friends who've texted me who are not very political saying, I'm coming to Washington, D.C. today because I can't handle what's happening in my country. I think it's not an understatement to say we're in a constitutional tinderbox right now with people on both sides believing there's legitimacy and illegitimacy based on things they feel in their heart and love of their country. Donald Trump.
So that's what he was up to. And Secretary of Defense was also up to this.
A well-groomed militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms while smelling great shall not be infringed. I don't mind those tweaks. You see, one-man army loves the country and makes damn good soap. I've used them all, and I love these new brands. Like Gunsmoke, smells like American firepower. Or Gurkha, refined bourbon and tobacco leaf. Or how about Patriot and the Pine Tar Bar? There's more of them, too. You can get them in a variety pack.
We are in a TV show, except it's not. We're not supposed to be in a sitcom. This is not supposed to be, haha, silly, throw some Fox host into the Secretary of Defense position. What's the worst that could happen as he oversees our military? Scary times. Scary times. We've been going on too long, so I don't even think we need to spend a bunch of time on this. Maybe we'll dive into it more on the bonus show, which you can support a step further than subscribing this show by becoming a member, by clicking that join button below, where we'll look at Eric Hovde, who ran against Tammy Baldwin in Wisconsin for Senate. And he says, many people have reached out to me with concerns about the voting inconsistencies we experienced on Election Day. Here are my thoughts. And then he posted a video pushing fraud claims or fraud adjacent claims, going, big questions about how I lost to Tammy Baldwin. Really? Eric, Trump's not even doing that this time around. No one's going to back you up on this one, buddy. But this is what Trump has set up. If you don't want to accept you lost, you just lie that you didn't. It's absurd. And we have to continue calling it out and doing the work to make sure next time we have the opportunity, we don't lose. Let me know what you thought in the comments. And like I said earlier, you can get the bonus show, become a member by clicking that join button below.